This is what was leaked. It was like a PowerPoint explaining how Activision is all in on the diversity stuff, blah, blah, blah. You guys know I'm a fan of it. You guys know I think it's actually good for games. I know some of you guys don't like it, whatever. There's nothing else to say. No minds or hearts are going to be changed here as it relates to this particular nugget of a story, okay? It's a good point, though. Dark Shadowy Place says Activision, of all companies, needed this with their past history. Right, you guys are talking about a company where a woman killed herself because they took pictures of her vagina and passed them around a Christmas party for everybody to see. This is a company that needed some fucking help. So, you know, whatever it takes, I'm down with. But anyway, this Pirate Nation site or Twitter guy, this is something coming from China, a tweet. And this is the gist of it. It says the reason why the team behind Black Myth Wukong has been subjected to persistent sexist attacks and slander since their first promotional video is because they have consistently refused political correctness guidance and rejected the extortionate guidance fees of millions of bucks demanded by political correctness teams. They're saying that one of these teams, probably someone like a Sweet Baby Inc., was asking for $7 million. But because they didn't get it, the press has kind of piled on these guys, right? So this is now the narrative that even in this very chat, I was seeing some people talk about, like, well, what about the 7 million? Do you guys care about fact checking? Like, again, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I've spent a decent amount of this morning trying to find evidence of this. This is Pirate Nation tweets this out about the 7 million, and the team behind Black Myth has been subjected to persistent sexist attacks and slander by the press. And like, well, where is it? And the only thing this guy mentions is he's like, a typical example having nothing to do with Black Myth Wukong is an article by a major IGN writer criticizing Hogwarts Legacy and refusing to evaluate or promote it due to its alleged lack of political correctness. And that's its own story. And we've talked about that in the past. But goodness gracious, if you're going to say that the team has been slammed by sexist and slander or sexist attacks and slander, and they refused to pay $7 million, you'd like to think somebody who's writing that article would have some fucking facts to back it up. So the only reason I bring it up, and I'm not saying it's real or not real, is that, you know, where's the $7 million receipt that they could have, I mean, where's any evidence that the game has been hurt by any of this? The only thing, a journalist in the chat right now, Brad Glasgow, says there is an IGN article calling Wukong development, a developer at Wukong sexist, right? And I even think I know what you're talking about. Like, is this the thing where like the head of the company was like, oh, and I mean, I guess you could argue that the statement is sexist, where the head said something like, you know, at a just a chemical level or at a physiological level, the buying habits of women are different than that of men, right? I think that's what they were saying was sexist. But again, if this is a company that is rampant with sexual assaults happening inside the studio, then yeah, people should talk about it. But I need more than that. That's just a guy that has a, no, it's not anything, Awesome Tatum. Awesome Tatum says, is this really anything? I think blown out of proportion. I'm bringing it up exactly for that reason. Because today, because of this, I have seen more, it's just, I don't know. I guess it's my very teeny tiny contribution, which probably isn't going to make a goddamn shit of difference, to just promote the value of, you know, media literacy and doing some fact checking. Just because something exists on the internet and it conforms to your already established belief system, which may or may not be correct. I'm not judging your belief system necessarily, but just because it conforms doesn't mean it's real and you should do some fucking fact checking. That's all I'm saying. And that's why it's a story to me, not because, can you believe that this developer, you know, turned down or wouldn't pay these guys $7 million? I can almost guarantee you, at least if you're talking about Sweet Baby Inc., they ain't charging people $7 million for their fucking services. Yeah, do you goddamn mind? I mean, I've paid consultants before that are, genuinely of great value. Nobody's paying them $7 million, let $1 million. You out of your fucking mind? Just like I'm saying, check your facts. Just because somebody says something that confirms your bias, maybe it is true. Maybe it's not true. What do you mean, what's my point? My point is not that you need my respect, but I would respect these people more if they just stop trying to paint this as a movement and stop trying to speak for all gamers. And they just kind of said, I really miss this. I want this. I grew up with this. I still like things like this. And I really don't like that I don't see as much of that anymore. Then I'd say, cool, I can respect that. I don't have to agree with you, but I can respect that. It's when these guys tend to talk about the industry as if they know what everyone wants. And they're the tip of the sword when it comes to really laying out the demands that real gamers want. Then I'm just like, fuck you, motherfucker. Yeah, other games have flopped. Forspoken flop. Yeah, people called that woke. At the very top of the charts, you've got a game that a lot of people on the progressive side, aka my side, said they wouldn't play because of J.K. Rowling's take on the trans community. But that not only was the number one game last year, Hogwarts Legacy, now it is the number one current box game in the UK. So that's what I'm saying. That's the point, I would suppose, if one is needed. Now, to counter that, and then we will move on. I'm happy to talk about what you guys want to talk about, but I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. The topic is rich enough to mention a few things about it today, and then we're going to move the fuck on. But I did want to find out a little bit about ESG DEI in terms of how successful it's been. Here's what I found doing some research, and I was really I was surprised by this. It says the positive aspects from BlackRock has been sustainable investment growth, mostly driven by younger investors, particularly millennials, who are increasingly seeking investments that align with their values, helping BlackRock capture a new generation of clients. Here are the challenges, though. There have been concerns about the financial returns of ESG-focused investments. While ESG funds have been have seen substantial inflows, some investors and analysts argue that these investments have underperformed compared to traditional funds. This underperformance has led to debates about the balance between achieving sustainability goals, because a lot of the ESG is more about the planet and not so much about the diversity stuff, but it's all lumped together. Achieving sustainability goals and delivering strong financial returns to investors. And so fundamentally, ultimately, these guys just care about money. And it's gonna sink or swim based on how much ducats these guys make, no matter what their own personal values are. So again, what I would advise you is, if you really believe this is what the world needs, then go figure out why Stellar Blade, didn't sell as well as it should have. I'm not saying it was a flop. $50 million for a game that looked like that. There's a fucking lesson to learn in that about game production. It's excellent.